Brant uses the ult, Changli's at the side, bro. Yo, that is cool, man. That is so sick. Hello, internet. Today we got Brant. In this episode of like the 2 uploads per month on this channel, we're gonna be testing Brant out in the official release. Now, this is a character that a lot of people are probably not gonna pull for because a lot of people want to save for the coming waifus. But you know what? For me, I like Brant. He is badass, okay? Now, to take a look at what I prepared for Brant, we got 240 energy regen. You need a maximum of 280, but I recommend like at least 250. Crit rate, I would prefer like at least 20 more, but my crit damage is pretty decent though. Here is the weapon. I will tell you right now as well, if you want to pull Brant, you want this weapon. It is one of the rare ones that gets you energy regen, and he really needs that, right? You want to make sure you have at least 250. Now, the reason is on his forte circuit right here, for every 1% of energy regen over 150, you get more attack. Now, you don't want to go over 280 because that's the maximum amount. You're going to get the maximum amount of attack at 280, but then again, you don't have to force yourself to get there. Just make sure you have at least a decent amount. 250 seems fine, right? These are my investments as well. As you can see, he's not maxed at all. I am out of everything. And ladies and gentlemen, we got this team. In general, he's like a different type of Changli. While he himself has decent damage because of all the attack buffs and stuff, his outro skill is mainly a buffing skill. So he's supposed to be like a sub DPS going into the next DPS, giving them a lot of buffs, right? But he's honestly truly the most unique character because on this inherent skill, you get healing from Waves of Acclaim, basically, right? So he has healing. He also gets you shield as well. He does damage himself. He also buffs the next DPS. It sounds like he does everything, which also means his role in the team is kind of weird considering right now we are lacking a lot more roles. Right now, Brant buffs fusion damage and resonance skill damage. That is perfect for Changli, but Changli also buffs resonance liberation damage and fusion damage as well. No one in the game at the moment can perfectly utilize that, right? Like, you can still put a fire DPS for sure, but no one perfectly uses it yet. Putting a shorekeeper over arena in might just be better anyway, which is why, in my opinion, Brant is a person that will be incredibly good in the future as well. You only need one more fusion main DPS or something like a sub DPS that works as well, and you have a triple DPS team considering Brant has shield and he has healing as well. It could be the funnest team ever. But if you're interested in what Brant can do in this version, allow me to show you. But before that, let me continue with the stats. So we got the tie-breaking courage set. These are all the individual pieces. They're not that great yet, and for the 3 costs, you want to go double energy regen if you don't have enough, but I almost have enough, so I'm going for fusion damage instead. Should be the best way to min-max. And with this Brant, which is still not maxed out at all, this is what they look like against a level 90 mecha combination. You're gonna start with just activating your buffers, right? Pretty simple. The moment you max your consider with your healer, you want to go into Changli here. Through her intro skill and a basic attack, you get 1 stack of her forte, and then you want to instantly right now swap out to Brant. Here is where Brant's gonna appear midair. I know it looks like nothing, but he's midair right now. And because you have a lot of energy regen, you should always have enough for your ult right now. You're gonna go and use it right away. This is his direct combo. Start with the ultimate. Here you want to just spam basic. So basic 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're gonna notice every time I spam a basic, my forte goes up. Right now, it's almost 2/3 full. And you'll see as well, between the forte, there's these dots that glow up. Every time you hit those dots, it's like you get some healing. Now, in this setup, though, you don't really care about the heal. The heal really only matters the most if you run a triple fusion DPS, which I think is a very solid idea. Just not quite perfect right now, for sure. And right now, Brant wants to max his forte. The moment you max it, you get to use your enhanced skill. That's what you want to do, right? So how do you max it? Once you land, you're gonna use your skill right here. The moment you use it, he's gonna jump up as well, and this is the problem with Brant. You see, the boss can kind of hit you back, or they can run away as well. And while Brant during his mid-air attack has anti-interruption, he's not immune to interruption, so he can still be interrupted, and it gets kind of annoying, right? But it's really not that big of a deal because if you don't have max forte, just spam basic till you do, or just use your skill, get up, spam basic until you do. The moment you do, your skill will glow up again with the enhanced version E right here. The moment it glows, you want to use it right there, so boom, and the moment you use it, check out the shield. That's a thick shield right there. In terms of damage, I didn't crit here. It says 34k. If I crit, I'm doing about 80k. So he is a very solid damage dealer, sub DPS. This is where you get your echo out into Changli. Changli is going to come in with the intro, get 1 stack again with forte into basic attack. So now we're just going to use the resonance skill into a basic and do it twice, right? Now we have maximum forte, just like how Changli's played. You know how it goes. I use my echo as well. I'm still using this one. The moment you max it, hold your basic attack, do this massive nuke into your ultimate, regain 4 forte, do it again, boom. Now you swap out, repeat the whole thing. That's the whole general combo of Brant's current team that I think makes sense. Now, there's another idea that instead of going shorekeeper, go for another fusion DPS, because if you pay attention, our health is good. Like, Brant actually has really good sustaining abilities, right? We got heal. It's 1.2k heal right there, right? Is that Shorekeeper's or if it's his? I'm not sure. I think his is 670 in terms of healing, which, hey, it's good enough considering, well, we're just destroying the boss anyway. We got the thick shield. I don't think there's anything that can, like, threaten us with this team in terms of survivability. Because we also have the healing from Shorekeeper as well. That's just overkill, right? So, yeah, if we get another DPS in this team, I think Brant himself can cover it for us enough, you know, given if we evade and everything. Allows us to live, even with triple DPS or sub DPS. But here we go with Brant again. Hopefully I crit this time, right? So we're gonna use our ult, do our mid-air attacks, 4 of them. Land, use our skill, fly again. Get our enhanced skill, use our enhanced skill, boom. I still didn't crit 34k, unfortunate. Now we go to the Echo, go back to Changli, do the same thing again. This is the whole cycle. It's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna skip ahead because it's literally the same thing, right? Let me go back to Brant again. This will be the next cycle. Can we have Brant crit once, bro? Bang, use my E, float up again. I'm trying to evade there, but doesn't matter. We use our enhanced skill right there. There we go. There's the crit, 80k. You can tell it's not like a main DPS, Camilla level damage, Jinxie level damage, but it is a sub DPS damage, right? But you do your damage, use your Echo, get out to freaking Changli. You have all the buffs for Changli right now. Fusion damage and resident skill damage as well. So it's decent for her. Now we're gonna use all our skills and do a bunch of damage. Now my Changli is also not that great. It's only level 80 and everything. And Changli herself is not really a main DPS, right? So this team, in order to be perfect, I think needs a third main DPS so that you can come in with Changli. Changli swaps out into the main DPS that does a hyper nuclear bomb of an ultimate. But by the way, that was a cool scene, no? When you do it fast enough, both of your characters show up in the ulti, like right here. Brant uses the ult, Changli's at the side, bro. Yo, that is cool, man. That is so sick. These are like the low-key combos you could do, right? Do it fast enough, they appear in the same frame. Get one more main DPS in this team. Changli boosts that main DPS. The main DPS needs to have a really strong ulti that ideally just does one nuke. And the main DPS just needs to stay on field for a very minimal time. And then you get to swap out again. Do the whole thing, right? So now instead of going for the standard healer to sub DPS to main DPS, you go from sub DPS to sub DPS to main DPS, or heck, sub to sub to sub. All 3 sub DPS. You get triple of them swapping in and out constantly. I feel like that's fun as heck though, right? Would you not agree? Considering this team is far from being efficient, I did not get the 3-star. Not just in terms of the wasted buff by Changli, because we're basically buffing Shorekeeper with fusion damage. That doesn't do anything. But yeah, it's also wasting it in terms of just me not maxing everything, right? I'm terrible at planning for my resources. But with all that said, that was the team and the showcase and my own gameplay of Brant. Now, I haven't tried using, say, a Qixia as the 3rd slot or, say, Encore as the 3rd slot, but none of them are going to perfectly use Changli's buff, right? I think Qixia could, but Qixia on her own, I don't think can fit the team well, considering Qixia herself is going to take quite some time to get a Concerto going compared to just putting a Marina, putting a Shorekeeper there. So, yeah, in conclusion, I don't think there's a perfect team for Brant yet for sure, but right now, one of the best pairings would be Brant with Changli, right? Those two pair very well together. And TLDR on our favorite ship captain, should you be pulling for Brant? Is he good or not? I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't think you need Brant for sure. There's no reason for you to get Brant right now, unless you love him, of course. Like, no harm in that. But if you're a person that believes in Kuro, that you believe that in the future there's gonna be another fusion character that brings this team together, specifically another DPS or sub DPS that can utilize Changli. So Brant's buff goes to Changli, Changli buff goes to this next character, and then cycle the whole thing very well together. So instead of the standard healer, you get triple DPS. It might be the funnest gameplay of all time. Everyone is doing damage, right? So if you're a person that wants to try a team like that, Brant is a solid choice, but I would also suggest you not to do it yet, or at least wait until you see the next batters and next characters. Because here's the deal, if they ever release another character that's fusion that's good with Brant, they're also probably going to release Brant as well as a rerun. And I feel like they've done it before. They've released Jeji rerun along with Carlota. So no harm in just waiting for who is next, or hey, if you just love Brant, because I love Brant, you need to be my wife to get yourself your own weapon, you hear me? But speaking of which, the weapon's really good for him. Like, the energy regen is really nice for you to just alleviate that stress off your Echo. It's pretty good. If you're going for Brant, go for the weapon as well. I really suggest that. And yep, overall a solid character, not the perfect team yet, which a lot of characters they release doesn't have a perfect team to begin with. But look at Jeji, right? In the end, she turned out to be very worth it. But that is my personal review of Brant. Before we end as well, I will certainly point something out. Brant is terrible when the enemy moves around. But then again, a lot of characters also suffer from that, right? Specifically against Thundering Mephis right here. The problem with this is if you miss your mid-air attack, the Mephis TPs across the map. You're missing your mid-air attacks, it's annoying. You gotta chase him. I mean, it's the same for a lot of characters for sure. You gotta time it better and you're gonna be fine. And that will be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll try and post more, and I'm trying, like, if you watch my Honkai Star stuff, you know I'm going through a change right now. I'm trying to upgrade the quality of everything. I hope I can survive long enough to do that to the Wuthering Waves channel because I love the game. So hey, if you're gonna stay around, or maybe we'll see you again in the future when I do put more effort in, I hope so, right? But for now, that'll be all. Good luck for playing Brant, and take care.